From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Max Darrow, and welcome to our Saturday showcase. Here's what's ahead this hour. Pride celebrations kick off in San Francisco today. It's always easy for the Bay to show up and show out for the parade, but just how easy is it to put on? In a moment, Cara St. Cyr explains the challenges this long-running event is facing, but first, celebrating Pride in a different fashion. Here's Veronica Macias.
Dr. Nas Muhammad is a primary care physician, and he's proudly, openly queer.
How has it been?
Good. I mean, the Aptitude is actually much preferred for me.
At Astra Medical, he offers health care tailored specifically to the LGBTQ+ community. His teal blue blazer is sharp with his scarf tucked inside, adding a vibrant pop of color. But for Dr. Nas, fashion is more than just flair. It's about building bridges, shedding light on basic human rights for his community. The runway is a form of activism. Each design and couture is attention-grabbing. Bold and beautiful looks capturing your eye.
In a lot of places around the world, unfortunately, the wrong stories are being told about who an LGBT person is. So for a lot of people, they think it's a crime. They think there are people that are out there to groom your children, to spread disease, to commit crimes. They haven't seen examples or heard stories of LGBT individuals that are, successful.
Walking are people who are far from being any type of criminals. They are people fighting for the right to seek asylum and issues like gender-affirming medical care.
So, I mean, I can speak to my own personal experience. When I went into my primary care physician when I was younger, I had gotten my first STI. And his response was, it almost felt like I was being quarantined in the room. Just his response was not compassionate.
He comes from the Middle East, where in Qatar, he could not live true to himself. The language of fashion is something people from all walks of life can relate to. So during Pride, he's telling everyone, walk with us, because love is not a crime.
Now let's go behind the scenes of the festivities amid a push to keep the parade marching into the future. Here's Cara St. Cyr.
This was a DJ that was having fun on the main stage. I love his jacket and the big crowd.
Jose Perez's phone is a treasure trove of memories, reflecting 42 years of Pride parades.
That's me working the main stage.
As a longtime participant and volunteer, the event has always been deeply important to Perez and others within his community.
I noticed that a lot of young people were coming to Pride, and the look that you see in their face, when they come out and they can express themselves with just being themselves, being able to hug each other and wear whatever they want and be themselves and be with the tribe, be with people that are like them.
But the future of the event he loves is uncertain. Organizers say ticket sales are lower than normal, and notable sponsors like Comcast, Anheuser-Busch, and beverage giant Diageo pulled out of this year's event, leaving the organization in a deficit.
Right now I'm about $175,000 short.
A deficit Suzanne Ford, the executive director of San Francisco Pride, is desperately trying to fill.
How many people show up at the event? How many people donate? We still have tickets to sell at sfpride.org for the grandstands, for the parades and City Hall party, and the Pride Pass. And so, if people were to stay home, it could cripple us.
Ford says operating costs for the event total about $3 million. The bulk of its funding comes from corporate sponsorships, some of which have slowly rolled back their support. Without that money, Ford says programming for next year's parade might be altered.
I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. If we gave up when it looked like things might be in jeopardy, then we would never have got through 2022.
As for Perez, seeing sponsorships disappear hurts.
Those brands that abandoned us this year, that turned their back on us, we don't need you when we're having a good time. We need you when we really need you, like now that we're in danger.
But he remains optimistic.
We're a beacon of hope.
Anything could happen.
First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us live on this Saturday morning now. And Zoe, we've got Pride festivities happening all throughout the Bay Area throughout the weekend. Looks like it's going to be a good weekend weather-wise for it, but that's why we have you to tell us more about that, because I can't do that.
I mean, you could if you wanted to. You just probably wouldn't be as accurate as me.
No, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here, you know.
One of the many reasons.
One of the many reasons, hopefully to brighten your day a little bit, and the sun is going to do that already because there is going to be a lot of it this morning, other than if you live closer to the coast, because as you can see, those little fingers of fog making their way over the city of San Francisco. And on the western half of the city, it's definitely foggier. On the eastern half, you're seeing a lot more of that sunshine. So it's all about location early this morning, how much of that sunshine you're seeing and how warm your temperatures are. But we're all pretty mild. We're all within a degree or two of what we were feeling yesterday. So really no big weather issues early this morning to worry about. Visibility should not be a concern. We are just seeing, again, a little bit of that fog along our coastal communities, making its way through the Golden Gate. But now that the sun has risen, we're going to continue to see that fog peeling back from our coastal communities and allowing our temperatures this afternoon to continue to warm up to average or well above it if you live across our inland areas. It's going to be about 5 to nearly 10 degrees above average for our inland East Bay community, sitting in the mid-90s, upper 80s to low 90s down in the Santa Clara Valley. Areas around the Bay are going to be in the 70s and then mid to lower 60s along our coastal communities. I'll let you know when even cooler, cloudier, and windier weather will arrive and what your 4th of July will look like coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, all in the forecast. The microclimate's in effect. Thanks for that, Zoe. Coming up after the break, meet some of the minds behind a big business boom in the Bay and the plans to bring more Asian markets to our region. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's get down to business. Kenny Choi will soon take us into the big boom of Asian grocery markets as big box stores close in the Bay Area. But first, preserving culture, community, and creativity. That's the mission behind a new co-working space in Japantown. Entering the Coho co-working and event space in Japantown, Aaron, a music producer and artist known as Mr. Carmack, abides by tradition before finding a space and getting to work.
I'm working on a triple album.
Like many creators, he's used to working from home. But with the emergence of this new co-working space in Japantown, he's eager to switch up the atmosphere.
Keeping your home space for home things and separating the work.
The same sentiment from Dana Dimalanda, an architectural designer.
Like a creative hub was missing from this area.
When Susie Kagami, the founding executive director, set out to make Coho a reality, she wanted to provide a hub for creators and artists. But the mission runs deeper.
This actually was envisioned by our community over 10 years ago as a community strategy, a preservation strategy for Japantown. An arts and culture hub would revitalize our stories and bring people back, preserve our narratives of our past, our elders, as well as give voice to a younger generation.
San Francisco's Japantown is one of 3 left in the nation. Kagami says it has shrunk in size over the past several decades due to displacement from World War II incarceration and then urban renewal.
If I can provide a nurturing space for folks to come back to, find a little bit of cultural identity, reconnect with community and families, that is my wish for this co-working space.
It's bringing back more of the authentic community and culture.
Aaron thinks it will help bring new and old faces to Japantown. And as a result, they'll help support the neighborhood's vitality.
Bringing people not only to work here, but also to involve and immerse themselves in the surrounding businesses.
A space dedicated to nurturing creativity and culture, building blocks for the future, while paying homage to tradition. Let's get over to Kenny Choi now with the growing demand for Asian grocers.
Tony Yu has opened highly acclaimed restaurants in Korea, earning a Michelin star along the way.
I make Korean barbecue dishes. It's 2 different kinds.
He's now the executive chef at Pogu, a restaurant inside the mega food complex called Chagalji at the Sermonti Center in Daly City.
Looks yummy, right? And this soybean-based marinade, and this is spice chili sauce.
The massive grocery, bakery, bar, food court, and restaurant fills what was once an empty 75,000-foot square space long ago occupied by JCPenney.
3 months in now, I think we're in a more stabilized, steady phase. We're seeing consistent month-over-month growth.
Camilla Rahman has been wanting to try it since it opened earlier this year.
This is actually just a really nice use of this space. I think that as retail has changed and the Bay Area's population has changed as well, this is a good use.
At least 7 large Asian chain groceries, including Tokyo Central in Emeryville and Megamart in the South and East Bay, are slated to open this year. It's an economic boost city leaders are touting.
TNT, the largest Asian grocer in Canada, is coming to San Francisco.
San Francisco State Asian American Studies professor Russell Jung says the market boom in Asian grocery stores is a reflection of shifting consumer demands and a demographic uptick in the region. Census numbers show Asians in the Bay increased from 1 in 4 in 2010 to 1 in 3 by 2020.
The increase in immigration from China and especially India, and those coming especially for the high-tech industry, makes up a large segment of that population growth.
Jung says that growth, employment in biotech, AI, and other high-earning sectors of the economy are partly fueling the demand and replacing what were once smaller mom-and-pop Asian groceries.
That Asian American community actually have high enough incomes where they want more high-end Asian groceries. So they're not mom-and-pop grocery stores coming in, but they're actually corporate.
It's a new environment for you, working in a state-of-the-art kitchen in the middle of a mall, to introduce his modern take on Korean cuisine.
Welcome to real Korean flavors. Welcome to Pogu.
It's his new home in a vastly changing retail space in the Bay.
I recently checked out that space. It really is a great spot. All right, still ahead, there is still another type of craze taking over the Bay Area. Why hundreds have already caught to the cricket bug. Up next.
And you see a little bit of that fog making its way over San Francisco. Half of the city's foggy, half the city sunny. It is what we see this time of year. If you are used to the sun this morning, enjoy it. If you are seeing the clouds, don't worry. It's going to be peeling back over the next couple of hours. I'll let you know when everyone is going to be seeing more of this fog and cooler weather. That'll be coming up after the break.
It is one of the most popular sports in the world, but it's not soccer, football, or basketball. Here's Itai Hod on the new craze that has many chirping here in the Bay.
Most people hear cricket and think of a backyard bug that just won't pipe down. But inside this Pleasanton training facility, cricket means something else entirely. Fast balls, flat bats, and a sport chirping its way into America's lineup.
I saw my dad playing with his friends out in the community parks and all. So I gave it a shot.
23-year-old Vatsal Vagela suits up for the San Ramon Grizzlies, a minor league club with major momentum. He's what's known as a bowler. Think baseball pitcher, but here the ball bounces off the ground first.
Good catch.
He's not the only one with big league dreams here. 14-year-old Shreyak Porecha plays for the Grizzlies junior squad, part of a growing pipeline of young talent.
It's the energy, it's the passion, it's the competitive environment.
Major League Cricket is only in its 3rd season, but it's quickly gaining ground. With literally billions of people worldwide tuning in, the U.S. isn't just catching up, it's catching on. And this summer, the league takes its biggest swing yet. Oakland Coliseum, once home to the A's, is hosting its first ever top-tier cricket match.
This way? Oh.
And although it may look like a cross between baseball and golf, you quickly find out it's a whole other ballgame.
Nice.
Do I look professional?
Yes, you do. You look not professional at all. But
Is cricket having a moment right now?
That's a great way to say it.
David Halbert, board director for USA Cricket, says the sport, second only to soccer worldwide, could give the 63,000-seat stadium a second life.
Every year is going to get a little bigger, a little better. We do expect to fill up the stadium.
He'll turn the corner. With the San Francisco Unicorns, the Bay Area's first pro cricket team in the mix. Let's go. The sport is getting a shot in the arm and a serious boost where it counts, says Grizzlies co-owner Samir Shah.
Is it exciting to see this happening?
Big time. Oh, smoked. And while baseball may be America's pastime, if fans have it their way, cricket might just be its future.
First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us now. Cricket at the Coliseum. That sounds like a fun evening.
It does, and a beautiful evening for any outdoor plans that you may have.
Yeah.
Although I did not know that cricket was the second most popular sport in the entire world.
Fun facts, the more you know.
That is super interesting. I might have to learn how to play it.
Well, there are people who could teach you now.
I mean, now,
It's
I was going to say, now we have people,
the right time.
I think I might have to go out there, have to check it out for myself, because it's going to be really nice out there, whether you're playing cricket or pickleball or just any regular sports either. They're all regular. What is normal now any days? But it is a really gorgeous start to our morning. We are continuing to see this fog rolling through the Golden Gate. That fog was nice and thick earlier this morning, but you can already see it's beginning to peel back, and you are beginning to see just the top of the Golden Gate. You can see just a little bit of it right there, and it's only going to get more and more clear throughout this afternoon, which is great news for any outdoor plans that you have. Sunny skies are going to be the name of the game for all of us across the Bay, other than far North Bay communities. That's probably going to be the one place this afternoon that is going to be seeing a little bit more of that cloud coverage that's going to stick around. The coastal communities early this morning are waking up to more of that fog, but really that's the only place that's waking up to the fog. A little finger of it again making its way through the Golden Gate as well. But by later this afternoon, we are likely going to be seeing a bit more of it heading towards our North Bay coastal communities. And it's likely going to stick around throughout this afternoon. So keep that in mind. If you're heading on the North Bay coast, it's going to be a little bit cloudier. But if maybe you want to head to Ocean Beach, we are likely going to be seeing more of that sunshine later this afternoon, as everybody is going to be seeing those clouds peeling back. And that is good news again for those outdoor plans today. You shouldn't really have to worry about too much besides enjoying yourself and any other summertime things that you normally have to worry about, like the sunscreen, the sunglasses, drinking a lot of water. Temperatures this afternoon are a couple of degrees above average for this time of year. But again, heat safety, it's not necessarily going to be the number one danger today. There's really not dangerous weather at all this afternoon. It's the Central Valley of California that's definitely feeling more of that heat. But again, with the UV index at 9, that only takes about 15 to 25 minutes to burn this time of year. So again, I want everyone to be safe, but enjoy themselves, because it is going to be a really, really nice day out there. Temperatures this afternoon are going to be warming up to, like I said, seasonable. It will be warmer across our inland East Bay communities by anywhere from 5 to nearly 10 degrees above average. Mid-90s across those inland East Bay, upper 80s to low 90s across our South Bay communities. Areas around the Bay are going to be in the 70s, and then the closer to the coast you get, the cooler it gets as usual this time of year. The influence of those temperatures along the ocean, the water temperatures are in the 50s, so it's making those coastal community temperatures feel like you're in the mid to lower 60s. Even with a good amount of sunshine, it is going to be slightly cooler again along the coast. By tomorrow, we are going to continue to see those temperatures staying within a degree or two of normal for this time of year, but it will begin to cool down just a bit across our inland East Bay and North Bay communities by tomorrow. Mid to lower 90s across the area, mid to lower 80s or mid to upper 80s to low 90s down in our South Bay communities, and again, mid to lower 60s along the coast tomorrow. Kind of depends on where you're located, but again, everybody is going to continue to see those cooler conditions as we step out later this weekend and into early next week. Wind gusts are going to increase as well, so it really just depends on what weather you like. If you enjoy the more summer-like heat, you're going to love it out there today. We're going to continue to see those highs sitting in the low 90s throughout the weekend, getting into the 80s by early next week. And then what I want to let you all know is by 4th of July, we likely are going to be seeing those cooler conditions beginning to set in, so keep that in mind for any plans. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Thinking of lighting up the sky illegally this 4th of July? Well, you may want to think again. I'll tell you what San Jose police are now using to keep an extra eye on the sky.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back. We turn now to public safety and what neighbors say they need from their cities to keep them safe. In a moment, in San Jose, Len Ramirez will show us the brand new tool authorities are using to catch repeat firework offenders. But first, we go to Oakland. and the major issue contributing to their budget crisis. Here's Kara St. Cyr.
We have some shrimp tacos and fish tacos too. It's feel very terrible, and then like I said, it's very stressful to trying to run a business and having so many robberies.
Osvaldo Sanchez's restaurant in Oakland has been broken into 22 times between 2016 and 2024.
We changed the lock because he also was broken so many times that the lock didn't work anymore, so we had to change that.
Each break-in cost him thousands of dollars, fixing windows and doors. But he also loses out on customers.
People is feeling unsafe, they don't want to go out to eat because they're not feeling safe.
A new report from the Bay Area Council Economic Institute shows that crime like Sanchez experiences is linked to Oakland's budget crisis.
Oakland can't get out of its budget crisis if it doesn't first solve its public safety crisis.
Jeff Belisario, one of the authors of the report and the executive director of the council, says data shows that Oakland's budget woes often keep police underfunded, which he says comes with dire economic consequences.
More than half of Oakland residents are actually leaving the city to do their shopping, right? So that has an impact on sales tax. When we ask people across the East Bay how they feel about Oakland, nearly 3/4 say they're avoiding Oakland's restaurants, bars, entertainment options because they don't feel safe.
The report highlighted 13 recommendations, including suggestions for loosening police oversight and increased funding for OPD, something Sanchez thinks would help his business.
If you did it more secure on the streets, more police outside, I think that's also gonna help a little bit in terms of robberies. More secure, more secure for the city.
For him, the report was a validation of what he's experienced, and he says change can't come fast enough.
In San Jose, new eyes in the sky this 4th of July, there to help catch people setting off illegal fireworks. Here's Len Ramirez.
From rockets lighting up the sky to deafening explosions shaking the ground, this is what the 4th of July looks and sounds like in parts of San Jose. And not an official fireworks show, but right in neighborhood streets.
People joke about saying it's Baghdad by the Bay. It's awful, it's dangerous, it's illegal.
Jeff Levine has lived in San Jose for over 2 decades and says the illegal fireworks problem has gotten worse.
Cars tossing fire, anything from the little firecrackers to the big explosive M1000s out in the street, and they zoom off and then they blow up and cars are coming in and swerving to avoid the explosions.
But this year, the city is launching a more coordinated ground and aerial effort. For the first time this 4th of July, San Jose police will launch drones to capture footage of illegal fireworks use, joining several other cities like Elk Grove, which shot this footage. The built-in GPS will allow the city to locate hotspots and go after associated property owners.
The information being gathered by the drones will be real time, and so it'll be relayed to the operator. That is a good message that we want to let people know is, again, have fun on 4th of July, be safe, but also we're watching. Fireworks are illegal in the city of San Jose and has always been.
And the city's largest neighborhood group is supporting and participating in the stepped-up enforcement.
We, as a neighborhood organization across the city, along with the city, want more people involved in reporting where fireworks are launched.
Steve Spivak is part of San Jose's all-district leadership group, which is working to encourage neighbors to report illegal fireworks using the 311 app, which now has a dedicated tab just for that purpose. And this year, code enforcement officers will be issuing citations directly to homes connected to illegal fireworks use. Spivak says the Los Angeles fires prompted San Jose to strengthen enforcement actions.
Fences, walls, landscaping, you name it, are all vulnerable to fire that can be started by embers created by the rocket launches.
And you have the potential for some awful results because people are using these illegal fireworks.
Levine is bracing for another 4th of July, but as the holiday approaches, he hopes that with stronger community involvement and a few more eyes on the skies, this holiday will be a little quieter and a lot safer. But if it's not, San Jose is also planning to use its social host ordinance, plus fines and even possible citations for spectators.
First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us now on this Saturday morning. And Zoe, looking ahead to the 4th of July weekend, I know it's still about a week away, but not looking great at this point.
I'm so sorry. I've been looking at the long-range models for the past couple of weeks, and they continue to trend cooler and foggier for our 4th of July. By Thursday and Friday of this upcoming week, it's not going to be as nice. So
But that is a good thing for fire danger, slightly.
Yes, it's definitely a good thing for fire danger because, yeah, it ushers in more moisture, which could help kind of lead to people hopefully maybe not getting out and doing fireworks because it's so foggy out there, maybe dissuading a couple of people as well. But either way, it is a little bit foggy out there early this morning, and I'm so sorry to say that the fog, again, it will arrive for 4th of July. But if you want to enjoy some beautiful beach weather, today, tomorrow are your chances to do so with a lot of sunshine along our coastal communities even. This morning, though, again, it kind of depends where you are. The coast is definitely seeing more of that fog, but we're all sitting at a couple of degrees within average for early this morning. Temperatures continue to be within a couple of degrees of normal. It's not record-breaking heat. It's just a couple of degrees above average. We're looking at a lot of fog early this morning. That fog continues to, again, make its way farther north. Well, our North Bay communities along the coast are likely going to be seeing that fog sticking around. But either way, it kind of depends on what your plans are this weekend, how you have to plan for it. Because if you maybe want to head out to the Alameda County Fair, it is going to be a warm one. So again, sunglasses, sunscreen, drink lots of water, light, loose-fitting clothing. But maybe you're planning on heading to the Pride Parade tomorrow. You're probably going to want to grab a jacket. You're going to want to dress in layers. And you not necessarily need as much sunscreen because you'll be seeing a lot of that cloud coverage to kick off the day, and high temperatures are going to be a couple of degrees cooler tomorrow than today. And I'll let you know when even cooler, cloudier, and windier weather will arrive coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. After a life-saving diagnosis, one professor is teaching his students something they will never forget. That's still ahead. Welcome back. We turn now to life-saving care. In a moment, David Begnaud will introduce us to a Stanford professor who is using his diagnosis to teach his students. But first, changes and cuts from the FDA are leaving patients with a rare disease concerned. Families living in limbo, but are hoping for the best. Here's Suji Nam.
"13-year-old Henry Branagh has the perfect recipe.
I usually put mayonnaise and mustard on it
for the perfect grilled cheese sandwich.
It's fun to make and it's rewarding to eat it after.
Besides cooking in the kitchen,
I love playing with my friends.
Henry likes playing sports. But unlike many 13-year-olds, he's endured many challenges.
He was in severe heart failure and he was admitted to the hospital.
Henry's mother, Megan, says he was diagnosed with Barth syndrome when he was 3 months old, an ultra-rare genetic disease that affects muscle and heart strength in males.
There's no treatment or cure for it at all.
Hospital rooms are Henry's home away from home.
6, 7, 8.
8 pills a day to maintain heart health, along with countless doctor visits.
I usually put a heart monitor on for 2 days.
A new therapy, elamipretide, is the only drug for Barth syndrome in clinical trials. In May, the FDA denied the current application for the treatment. While drug manufacturer Stealth Biotherapeutics says they still see a path forward to have elamipretide approved, Megan feels cuts within the FDA could slow down the process.
There was only one person left remaining at the FDA who had a hand on our case.
Dr. Hitendra Patel, Henry's cardiologist, says he doesn't see this as a denial.
I think the FDA wants a little more data on its efficacy.
He adds that FDA approvals in the pediatrics rare disease community are an even bigger hill to climb. But advocacy from those like Henry's family makes an impact.
How you make it, how you bring it to market, what cost, trying to prove, because, the FDA has its mandates and you have to kind of go through the trial process, and takes a long, long, long time.
He remains optimistic for the community that often gets overlooked.
My wish is to live one day, be normal without having Barth syndrome.
To be normal means something more to Henry.
Mainly when I'm in sports and I'm running around and I get tired when the other kids are running way faster and have a way better stamina.
And so the fight continues.
I think the worst thing to watch as a parent, to know that your kid has something that you can't do anything about.
Megan is proud of her son and will continue to fight for his health, no matter how long it takes.
My parents helped me out a lot. They just always push me and encourage me to keep on going.
Henry says he is grateful for every moment, even if it's something simple as splitting his famous grilled cheese sandwich
hot
with those who mean the world to him.
Speaking of fighters, one Stanford professor worked to turn the most vulnerable chapter in his life into a teaching moment. Here's David Begnaud.
You know you're old when your kids can beat you at stuff.
Last year, Dr. Bryant Lynn had a lingering cough, and he thought it might be allergies. 6 weeks later, it was confirmed to be stage 4 lung cancer.
You had a lot of disease here.
Have you ever smoked?
Never smoked.
You ever been around people who smoke?
Not really.
And here's the twist. Dr. Lynn has spent many years as a professor at Stanford University, researching and teaching about non-smoker lung cancer.
Completely, very important. Ironically, I become the poster child for the disease.
You're warning people about it, and here you are. The odds of you getting it are what?
So the odds, it's interesting. For Asians now, we're thinking that the odds are higher. Asian women have twice the rate of non-smoker lung cancer than non-Asian women.
Dr. Lynn made a surprising decision. He created a Stanford course based around his diagnosis and treatment.
I was diagnosed, I have stage 4 cancer, which is not curable. I will highly likely die of this cancer or something related to this cancer. It may be 1 year, it may be 2 years, it may be 5 years, I really don't know. I promised myself I wouldn't choke up, and now I'm choking up.
So you get a terminal diagnosis and you decide, well, I'm gonna go teach about it.
Sounds crazy, right? Yeah.
Dr. Lynn doesn't like to give advice.
But I'll ask you to share with us the lessons that you find work best for you.
This is one thing. People come up to me, how come you're so happy? How come you're so positive? I think partially because of my attitude. And I think one, of course, I was born that way. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, jolly. But two, I think try to be kind. It's easy to forget to be kind when you're sick. It's easy to forget to be kind when you're not feeling well, when you're busy, when life has you down.
He opened the course with a letter written by one of his former patients, which underscores the type of doctor he hopes these students will become.
So, dearest Dr. Lynn, I wanted to thank you so much for taking such good care of me in my old age. You treated me as you would treat your own father, and I received this letter 2 weeks after he died. He spent time writing a letter for me during his last days of life. In a way, this class is part of my letter, part of what I'm doing to give back to my community.
What was the lesson you were trying to teach?
One thing I observed early on is even though I knew what a patient goes through as a doctor, I didn't really know. So I wanted to kind of rebalance the proportion of what medical students see in a typical class in medical school.
In week 3 of his college course, Dr. Lynn, who is a primary care physician, shared his chemotherapy journey, giving students a raw, behind-the-scenes look into the emotion and physical toll of cancer.
You're almost done. Just make sure you get every drop.
Feeling okay, a little nauseous, avoiding the Chipotle today because of that.
You more focused on living or preparing for death?
Living. So this is something I think surprised students in the class. There's tiles and there are letters.
What matters to you these days?
Number one, time with family.
With a Z, I know is a word.
Dr. Lynn and his wife, Christine, are parents to 17-year-old Dominic and 13-year-old Atticus.
Triple 18.
They have both been candid with the boys about his diagnosis and the prognosis.
I'll just read the last few paragraphs.
Okay.
Dr. Lynn has saved letters that he's written for his boys. for a time he knows is coming.
There are things we can't control, like health. Gratitude can provide an overarching goodness as you build your lives. Whether I'm here or not, what I want you to know is that I love you. Of the many things I've done that have given my life meaning, being your daddy is the greatest of all. This letter would not be complete if it didn't include how essential your mom is in our lives. Listen to her, and if I'm not around, you have to take care of her. I love you all.
At the end of the 10-week course,
Yet today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of this earth.
the 50-year-old Dr. Lin read for his students another letter, inspired by Lou Gehrig's farewell.
When you have students and former residents reaching out to pray for you, chant with you, and wish you well, that's something. When you have a father and mother who worked all their lives to send you to medical school, it's a blessing. When you have a wife who's been a tower of strength and shown more courage than you dream existed, that's the finest I know. So I close in saying that I may have had a tough break, but I have an awful lot to live for. Thank you, and it's been an honor.
Coming up after the break, how LGBTQ fans are creating community around the newest sports franchise in the Bay. Welcome back. Enthusiastic Golden State Valkyries fans are now starting clubs to celebrate the team, and that includes members of the LGBTQ community. Kelsey Thorud introduces us to the Valkyries.
For many LGBTQ people, specifically queer women, going to a Valkyries game is an experience unlike much else.
You know, it's the representation to see ourselves being able to come out and be a part of the community with just ease and joy.
Queer women have long made up a significant portion of the WNBA fan base. Recent studies show upwards of a quarter of all WNBA fans identify as lesbians.
It's not surprising at all. We just got this brilliant moment to all meet up somewhere where we all belong and we can all fit, and come together and celebrate.
Audacious Wilson and Valerie Trout are two Valkyries super fans doing what they can to connect the LGBTQ fan base.
You know, kind of a meetup so that people can come out, enjoy the games, the away games especially.
And they're not alone. Since the Valkyries season started, several LGBTQ fan groups have popped up, including the Valkyries, headed up by Megan Doherty Baker.
It just feels like this could be kind of big in terms of how many numbers we've got and the diversity that the group can have and what it can look like and all the different ways that we can engage and connect with each other. It kind of feels like sky's the limit right now.
The Valkyries have already hosted several events and are planning more and more every week. As someone who's been a basketball fan for decades, Lucy Bledsoe told me it's wonderful to see both the connections fans are making with each other and the support the WNBA is giving to their LGBTQ fan base.
It's amazing. I remember the early women's professional leagues where they tried really hard to say, hey, we're straight, we're straight. I literally saw, I think it's the Pioneers did a game where at halftime they did a heterosexual marriage. You know, they were so afraid of the queer audience, and now they're just opening their hearts and doors.
Every WNBA team is hosting a Pride Night this season, including the Valkyries. It's something fans love to see and hope will help to create lasting connections long after the season ends.
It's unreal, it's unbelievable that this arena, this platform is giving us this space to build so much more community.
So one thing I haven't done yet, Joey, is I haven't actually made it to a Valkyries game. And it's been on my list. And just watching the energy and atmosphere, it's just got to bump up even further. So I think I'm going to try to do that within the next week or two. Hold me to that.
Let's go together. Let's hold each other to it because I definitely want to go. The atmosphere seems like so much fun. Let's get a whole group of people from station to go. Maybe if you go to the game, you'll see us all there. I mean, it's going to be really, really nice, though, to spend the day outside playing basketball and just soaking up some sunshine, although you might not see all too much of it depending on if you live closer to the coast, because as you can see, there is quite a lot of that fog that continues to stream through the Golden Gate. It is a beautiful sight to see that fog streaming in kind of like a river early this morning. You could see the Marin headlands in the distance, that fog making its way over the top of them. Oh, it's gorgeous out there. But not everyone is enjoying that view, because if you live there, you're likely underneath the fog and underneath all that cloud coverage. It's a bit gloomier out there. Temperatures right now, though, are pretty mild, sitting in the mid to upper 50s to low 60s. It's what we expect this time of year. Nothing too crazy. We're going to continue to see, though, throughout this afternoon, the fog continuing to stick around mainly our coastal communities. Yes, there is a lot of it early this morning, but those of you who live across our North Bay, that's where we're likely going to be seeing most of the fog staying throughout the afternoon hours. If you live maybe closer to Ocean Beach or South Bay communities, there's definitely going to be more peaks of sunshine. If you live closer to maybe Point Reyes or the coastal North Bay communities, that's where the fog is likely going to be sticking around a little bit longer throughout this afternoon hours. So keep that in mind if you're planning on heading to maybe our North Bay beaches. You're not going to be seeing nearly as much sunshine. So maybe head to a South Bay beach if you do want to soak it up, enjoy the mid to lower 60s. But if you really want the heat, head on inland today, where you're going to be seeing those mid 90s returning to the forecast, a couple of degrees above average, upper 80s to low 90s down into the Santa Clara Valley. Definitely feeling hot out there. So if you want to escape the heat again, head on over to the coast. It's going to be a lot nicer out there. By tomorrow, it's going to be a very similar story, very similar temperatures to today, but there will be a gradual downtrend. Temperatures tomorrow a degree or two cooler than what we're feeling today inland, and especially across our North Bay communities, as well as down into the Santa Clara Valley. Coastal communities are probably going to be the same as today, staying in the mid to lower 60s. But again, that gradual cool down is only going to continue as we step out into late this weekend and early next week. What I kind of want to show you all, though, is how lucky we are to live in the Bay Area and be impacted by the cooler water in the Pacific, because the Central Valley of California has definitely been feeling the heat over the past couple of days. But look at the Bay Area, the onshore flow, the cooler water temperatures keeping us significantly more comfortable, which is, again, really nice. And it's why we live here in the Bay Area. We are going to continue to see these nice and comfortable conditions closer to the coast, above average conditions the farther inland you go. But again, it's summertime. It is what we expect. If you plan on spending the day outside, if you live down in the Santa Clara Valley or farther inland, again, just make sure you drink a lot of water. Make sure you stay safe if you're planning on spending extended periods of time outdoors, with these low 90s sticking around through tomorrow. By Monday and Tuesday into next week, a lot more fog and cloud coverage will arrive. And I do want to let you know, long-range models for 4th of July, which is Friday on our 7-day forecast, is showing a very big cool down. A lot more fog, a lot more cloud coverage is likely going to arrive, with 70s inland, 50s along the coast. Keep that in mind for any 4th of July plans. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Coming up next, wrestling their way into the Bay. Introducing the future of luchadors. We're back in 90 seconds. Finally this morning, masked heroes honing their skills. Len Ramirez takes us to the mat and introduces us to some Lucha Libre legends.
It is a world of masks, mystery, and muscle. Lucha Libre, the high-flying Mexican wrestling tradition, is gaining ground far beyond the ring, and this San Jose gym is leading the charge. It's part sport, part theater, and 100% action. And it's here where ordinary people are transformed into Lucha Libre legends, like this masked man.
My name is El Cucuy. Say your prayers, because I'm coming to get you.
And then there's Charisma, one of a growing number of female stars. She's a fierce fighter who leads a double life. By day, she nurtures babies as a preschool teacher, but at night, she takes on the bad guys in the ring. And a superhero she is. Charisma recently won this championship belt.
I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the style, the astonishment, the acrobatics, and just the overall energy, and the fact that it brings a new light to a completely different culture.
But it's also a life of hard knocks. There's a daily dose of bumps and bruises, and as Charisma can attest, sometimes more serious injuries. But she keeps coming back for more.
It's rough. It can be rough. I have had countless injuries, and because it's an impact sport. It really is. And even though it's a spectacle, it's a story, it's a show, it's high impact, and it's athletic, and it's rough on the body. But nothing keeps me away, apparently.
This is a warm-up. This could not be that difficult.
At the heart of it all is Gabriel Ramirez, the owner of Pro Wrestling Revolution and a man on a mission, not just to teach wrestling moves, but to grow Lucha Libre into a global phenomenon.
It's obvious that Lucha Libre has come into its own, and it's a big part of what professional wrestling is now in the United States.
Recently, the gym's top talent took their passion across the globe, performing in front of packed crowds in Dubai, bringing the color and chaos of Lucha Libre to a brand new audience.
Taking our cultural phenomenon to them was an experience I'll never forget, because they see the masks, they see the capes, they see it, and for them it's a superhero come to life. And in the end, when you have little kids looking at you as that superhero, there's no better feeling.
With athletes like Charisma and El Cucuy and universal themes of good versus evil, Gabriel's gym is turning dreams into drop kicks and taking Lucha Libre from a local ring to the world stage.
Local ring to a world stage. What a great way to sum that up.
I cannot wait to potentially go down to San Jose and check it out.
It'll be a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for watching KPIX News this morning. Don't forget the news continues all day on CBS News Bay Area. We'll be back here tomorrow morning bright and early, 6 o'clock. Have a great Saturday.